to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing another girl talk video for you guys, and I'm so excited because today we are literally going to be talking everything women. Like everything that goes on in a girl's body, everything that you guys want to know. I'm going to try to help you guys out and answer your questions. I went on Twitter and I asked, I think I was just venting on Twitter. I was just like, oh my god, I hate being a girl. I was cramping. I was just having a horrible menstrual cycle month. So I went on Twitter and I was just, tweeting my life away. And I was so surprised by how many of you guys were obviously dealing with the same stuff. And it was just nice to have conversations. The conversations are still going on the tweet that I tweeted. And every day it's always like more questions and more girls just kind of helping each other out and answering. Which is why I love doing these girl talk videos. Because if you have seen any of my girl talk videos, you'll know in the comments down below, everybody just has conversations, everybody asks questions, and everyone just kind of helps each other out, which is really needed sometimes. So yeah, I wanted to do this video for you guys to just answer any period questions or any like birth control questions or anything related to just women's health in general. So if you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Blanca Yvette and I do post videos here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you guys want to go ahead and see what this video is going to be about, then just keep on watching. Okay guys, so by no way, shape or form am I like a doctor, a health, person or anything like that. Everything that I'm going to be answering is just based off of my own experience, my own knowledge that I might know. If I do say anything that might be misleading or anything, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I do not want to put out like false information or anything like that. I just want to make sure that we are all comfortable talking with each other. It's like if we were just here talking with your friends and you're letting your girl know like, hey, like I had a really bad period, like what have you been doing to make you feel better? And I would literally tell you guys what I've been doing to make myself feel better. So just a little history as far as like we are going to be talking, like I said, about menstrual cycles. We're going to be talking about birth control, and then we're going to be talking about how to make sure that we are staying clean, and just any questions you guys have, whether it's like dealing with bloating, pains, smelling good down there while you're on your period, stuff like that, to just kind of help you guys out. So I actually started my period when I was 10 years old. I was very young. I didn't realize how young I was until now that I'm obviously a little bit older, that I now look back and I'm like, man, I can't just imagine at 10 years old, having to go through those changes. And I developed rather quickly. Like after me getting my period, my body just changed drastically. I went from having like no boobs to being a full B cup in the 7th grade. So just imagine how that was. Like I was super tiny. I was like 75 pounds, 80 pounds. I wasn't even 100 pounds in 7th grade. So I was super tiny and I just had like these big boobs. I also even remember like getting made fun of in school and stuff, because people used to think that I was like stuffing my bra, because I literally just like grew boobs overnight. Like, when they say you had a good summer, I had a good summer. Like I literally had a summer vacation and 7th grade happened and I was a whole ass woman by the time I was in the 7th grade. So yeah, I started my period really young and it sucks. It's so sad to think that little girls go through this. My sister actually started at 9 and then my eldest sister started at 15, 16. So she was like, I feel like 15, 16 is like normal, like okay, like you're kind of going through those changes, but like 9 and 10 years old, I feel like we were so young and it sucks. And just based off of my demographics, like a lot of my girls that watch my videos are from 14 to 21 to 21 to 32. So I have like a lot of young girls that watch me, and I also have a lot of older girls that watch me. Not older, but like girls my age, we're considered old here now. So I obviously have, like a nice variety of girls. So it's nice to be able to know that no matter how old you are, you're always going to be learning something new, which I actually just learned as well. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys something that I learned that maybe you guys might be interested in. But yeah, I'm super excited. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the questions. So the first question says, is it normal to feel nauseous and dizzy every time that you are on your period? I definitely don't think that that is necessarily normal. I did read that there are women who experience very heavy menstrual cycles. Like myself, I do experience very heavy periods, but there's some girls that actually become anemic over how much blood they're actually losing through their menstrual cycle. So if it's something that you are constantly going through, I would definitely get that checked out by a doctor, because this may mean that you are borderline like anemic, or something's just going on where you're just losing too much blood and your body is becoming nauseous and dizzy. As far as the nausea, I don't know if it causes that, but I know like you being lightheaded or feeling weak or faint, that can definitely be from the blood loss that you are losing. And it sucks because like I was on Twitter and I was telling you guys like I hate being a girl. Like sometimes I'm just so angry. I had a photo shoot like the day after I was on my period, and I was just feeling so like I felt so like nasty. I had probably one of the heaviest periods I've had in a very long time, and I was just feeling like so annoyed that any guy that would come near me, we had a bunch of guys for our photo shoot, I was just looking at them with disgust, like I hate you. Like, why do I have to go through all of this while you're just sitting there? You know what I mean? I feel like this is why it's nice to talk to you guys and talk to other girls and just talk about those things, because we need to just be like helping each other out, because we go through a lot as women, and I feel like people don't ever talk about those things, or it's a shame to talk about it. That was another thing that I saw on Twitter as well. Someone also asked like, did my mom ever tell me about tampons and letting me know that I could lose my virginity if I used a tampon, or that if you're a virgin you shouldn't use them? Also just talking about them. I remember being really young and growing up, and then my mom being very upset if I asked my brother for a pad. Like if I was to ever ask my brother like to get me a pad, or if I was to walk around like holding a pad or showing it, like my mom would get so upset. She would make me feel like I had to be ashamed of being on my period, or that it was something you never talked about. Which is kind of sad, because it makes you feel like you kind of have to just deal with it, with everything by yourself. Like if I'm cramping, it was like, oh, I just have a stomach ache, or oh, like I don't feel good because like it's just, you know, it's just one of those days of the month, you know? So it's like, I feel like as I've grown up as an adult now, I've definitely become a lot more comfortable with talking about these things. And as a mom now, I want Camila to know that she can count on me and she can normalize those things. If I'm like, if she needs something, like if she needs Ulises to go pick up tampons and pads for her, like I want her to be able to be comfortable having those conversations with us. And we need to stop shaming people for talking about those things. Like, you know, we're at a restaurant or something and we're gonna go change like our tampon or our pad, and it's like we're hiding on our way to the toilet, or we're hiding those things, and it's like I don't get it. I don't understand why we're so shameful of those things. I definitely don't think that it's something that we should be ashamed of, and we need to make it more comfortable. And I feel like the more women become more comfortable doing those things, it's definitely going to help like the younger generation of like our little girls and stuff to grow up knowing that it's okay to talk about these things, you know? Any suggestions for abnormal periods or anything natural to help regulate? So I do know that obviously getting on birth control definitely regulates your period. This is something that a lot of people have also talked about, you know, to just make sure that you are consistent. I have family members who have very irregular periods. They get their periods maybe like once a year, once every 3 months, which is definitely not normal. You should be having a cycle every month. So once again, I would definitely recommend for you guys to talk to your doctor about that, because this is something that definitely needs to get checked out. You want to be able to regulate, especially for the future if you're planning on obviously having children. If you know like the whole woman's body, if you're not, you know, having a menstrual cycle, it means that you're not going to be able to have like an easy transition when trying to get pregnant. You obviously need to ovulate, which happens after your period. So in order for you to be able to do that, you need to be able to get your menstrual cycle. So definitely get that checked out, especially if you're someone who has been trying to get pregnant and is noticing, you know, something that's not like really off with your period. What app do you use to track your period, especially being a mom already? So the app that I use is actually called Flow, and you do have to pay for Flow. It's, I believe, like $40 a year or like $19 a year. I'm not exactly sure. But I love it. I used to use My Days before, but after I got pregnant with Camila, I changed my app and I was like, okay, something happened. And I'll get more into that, like birth control and stuff later on, so you understand why I'm saying that. But I love tracking my period. It also like has like a virtual assistant, which is Flo. And anytime that you're late, like she'll talk to you and she'll be like, so let's check out why you're late this month, or let's see what was different from your cycle this month. But I have a very consistent menstrual cycle. I have always been very on track with my period. I get my period every 28 days. They last about 5 to 6 days. I do have a more like longer period, I guess. Sometimes I could go up to 7 days. And my cycle is usually like very heavy, like drastically heavy, guys. Like to the point where it's like I'm concerned, you know, like I have to change my tampon every 2 hours or my pad every 2 hours because of how heavy I am. I will, like TMI, but I will literally go to the toilet and everything comes out of me, and I just kind of sit there for a couple of minutes to just like let myself like bleed out for a little bit, and then I'll put like my tampon in, because if not, I will be changing my tampon so consistent. And I started switching over to pads. So we don't want to be like sitting in a puddle of blood, you know what I mean? So just being, I guess, like consistent with cleaning yourself is going to be key, to just make sure that you're always clean. But yeah, I have a very heavy period. After my 3rd day, it's kind of like mild to moderate like heaviness, and then by the 4th and 5th day, it's usually just very light spotting, and it starts transitioning to like a more like brownish tone, texture and stuff like that. So this other question was, what do I like to use as far as pads and tampons and all that stuff? So I just recently started switching over to pads, and that was just because I'm home 24/7. I'm never out and stuff, so I'm not like, you know, out and about and stuff, so I didn't worry too much about tampons. And obviously, like you guys know, when you guys use tampons, there's a lot of risk behind tampons. I don't want to be that person to be like, tampons are bad, but they're not the safest, especially if you're somebody who is using them for the first time, or you don't know about certain things. But there is something called toxic shock syndrome, which is a bacteria that starts growing when your tampon is left in too long. But what scares me about tampons is the fact that I have actually seen people talk about them only having it for an hour or two and still experiencing those things happen to them. So that's what worries me, that I'm like, what if I am being consistent and I'm changing my tampon every 2 hours and something like that happens? And then me being the hypochondriac that I am like on panic mode, you know? So with COVID happening and us quarantining these past 11 months, I switched over to pads, and it has not been the like most fun experience, to be honest with you guys. I hate tampons. I mean pads. I was never one that ever hated being on my period. Like, I used to love being able to be on my period. When I was on my period, I'd be like, oh, like I'm just flushing everything out. Like, I feel, you know, clean after. Like, I felt so lean. Like, the bloating went away. Like, it just felt like I used to get excited. Like, okay, I'm like on my period. You know, it's fine, because I was so used to wearing tampons. And tampons are very life-changing. Once you start using tampons, you're not going to want anything else. But I transitioned back to pads just because I was just at home, so I knew that I didn't have to worry about, like, obviously any accidents happening, or you know, me being like in a puddle of blood or anything, because I'm just at home, you know, chilling. But I did notice that for some reason my periods have been becoming heavier, and I don't know if it's the pads or the fact that I gave birth to my 2nd child, because like I mentioned, I've always had heavy periods, but since giving birth to my kids, I am like twice as heavy, and my cramps are even that more drastic. So the pads that I use for sleeping are literally Always, and they are the night pads, and they're so thick, guys. Like, it literally feels like you're wearing a diaper, but they're so comfortable at night. If you're somebody who usually leaks through the night, these are going to be your best friends. And they're so wide, like they're jumbo size pads. You see the thickness, like they're super thick, and they hug from literally the top to the back of my butt. I have not had any accidents. Like, I have not had any accidents on my bed or anything like that since using these pants. They are 10-hour holds, and I feel probably the most comfortable with these. It just sucks that I can't wear these with like my jeans and leggings, because you will literally see and it will look like I have a diaper on. And I'm not talking about my butt, I'm talking about my actual pad. So with that, I did switch over to pads recently, and it's just because I guess I feel a little bit safer. I feel, you know, like if I can do it, why not? And then also if you guys are someone who uses tampons, organic tampons are usually the way to go. They are proven to basically help you even reduce how much you're bleeding. My sister-in-law was actually the one who mentioned these to me. She was telling me that as soon as she started using them, her periods went from like 5 days to 4 days, and they have been the best. So the back is just basically saying that they're organic, and they look like this. They're super cute. They're tiny. They're small. My little nieces, you know, they're going through the transition stage of now becoming a little woman and stuff, so I just want to make sure that I have like all the knowledge that I can to make sure that I help like my kids and I help like them with everything that's happening. And I even recommended, you know, these and stuff because there's some stuff that you can't prevent. Like say if you're like a swimmer or you're, you know, on vacation or something, you like, and you really need like an emergency tampon, like start transitioning more towards like organics tampons. These are with BPA free plastic applicators. They have no rayon, no chlorine bleach, and no synthetic, so they're not, you know, your regular tampons. So they also have pads, but these here are ultra thin pads, so definitely it just depends, you know, it depends on how heavy your cycle is. I've had to go days where I literally stack 2 or 3 pads at a time because I'm telling you guys, like, I'm that heavy. And don't be concerned or anything for myself. Like, I've, you know, talked to my doctor, and this is something that's normal. It has not dropped my iron levels, or I'm not anemic. I don't lose excessive blood loss. It's literally just how my body, you know, flushes out everything in my uterus. So this is something that I've been dealing with since I was a little girl. So yeah, definitely don't be concerned over me telling you guys that I have a very heavy period. So yeah, they have like ultra thin pads that are also organic. So it sucks sometimes. Like I wish stuff like this was free. Like I wish that tampons were free. I wish that pads were free, because it sucks that we get this every month and have to pay so much money just to make sure that we're taken care of, you know? That's like the sucky thing about it. But I am super excited to introduce to you guys this little baby that my girls on Twitter were telling me about. So this is called the Salt. And if you go on my tweet, I'll put it right here. The actual company of this applicator thingy, a menstrual cup, were answering so many questions, and I was so in awe by the fact that they were answering questions about this little thing. But a bunch of girls on my comments were like, oh my god, like you need to try a menstrual cup. And then this whole feed just started happening where they were like, so what does it do? What is it? And how does it work? So I'm learning with you guys, so I'm gonna share this with you guys right now, okay? So the Salt is a menstrual cup. This is in a size small, and it is light to normal flow, first timer user, pre-birth. So this is something I would definitely not be able to use because I am not a light to normal flow. I am a first timer, but this isn't the first time that something's inside of me, so I'm sure I'll be fine. And then pre-birth, I obviously have 2 babies. So then they have a regular, which is a 4 tampon capacity, and it's a normal to heavy flow, high capacity, and it is for high cervix, obviously for women who have given birth to children vaginally. So it's basically a little cup. It is reusable. It lasts up to 10 years. You spend less time and waste less. So it's great. Saves you money. You don't have to buy pads all the time. It's reliable. You can wear it day and night stress-free. It's comfortable. It's soft, flexible, molds into the shape of your vagina. Like it will literally fold in there. It opens up and just like holds everything inside. Soft and flexible. It is also, feel free to run a marathon or fly to Bora Bora. That's what it says on here. It's natural, so it's odor-free, non-toxic, maintains natural pH, no BPA, no latex, and no chemicals. And it's 100% medically safe, graded silicone, and it's FDA registered. And yeah, there is nothing about toxic shock syndrome in here, which I am shook. So I wonder if this is what they used to use like back in the days. Because I always wonder, how did people back then, would they put like leaves? Toilet paper? Like what would they put? Oh yeah, like trapos, huh? So this is what the little thing looks like. And it has like a little pulley thing here, and it's a little circle. So basically the way that you put it inside of you is you fold it. I was watching a bunch of tutorials before I talked to you guys about it, just to show you guys. And I'm excited about this thing because I want to try it out myself, but I actually feel like this is not going to hold enough of my blood because I bleed way more than this. So you kind of like tuck it in like this. You fold it and then you insert it like a regular tampon. So say like this is like my vagina hole. You insert it like this and then you let it go and then it opens. So then this is like, it's like that. So then it's like holding in all the little drops of blood, blah, 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 blah. And apparently it lasts up to 12 hours. So from the morning to the nighttime. I'm going to try this out. I'll probably vlog it for you guys and share like my experience, or maybe do a video like updating you guys on how I like it. Because I want to give it a shot and I want to try it out. I was watching a tutorial of this girl because at first I was like, I would fill this up in 2 hours, but you know, we actually do not bleed a lot. We only bleed, I believe, 2 tablespoons. And do you know what 2 tablespoons look like? It's not a lot. I used to think I was over there like bleeding my life away. And I saw this girl and she filled up hers and it was maybe like halfway, and then she poured it in the toilet. And when she poured it in the toilet, the blood like spread out and it looked like this big gushy like chunk of blood. And it was only like this much blood. It was like a tiny amount, but obviously the water from the toilet expounds and it makes it look more than it is. And when you're over here like bleeding and thinking your whole toilet's like all full of blood, it's really like a couple of drops of blood, and we're over here like, why am I bleeding so much, you know? So it was nice to know, like after having those conversations with you guys on Twitter, I was just very intrigued in trying to find out like just different things. And like I said, you're never too old to learn new things, because I can guarantee you guys that a lot of you girls watching this probably didn't even know what this was. Because I didn't even know what this was, and I'm about to be 30 years old. Like I'm a whole ass like grown woman and I barely found out about these. So yeah, these are obviously another option. So for those of you guys who have tried them, please let me know in the comments below your experience, if you guys love them, because the girls that were on my Twitter were like, they were just bragging about how freaking life-changing it was. They were like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. You guys are going to love the menstrual cup. It's amazing. But then I also saw like reviews and girls were like, oh, it was just a lot. It was too comfortable. It was uncomfortable. And then the way you clean it also, guys, you're supposed to, I guess, like boil it in water, just to like get rid of all of like the nastiness of the actual like plastic and stuff like that. So just making sure that you're cleaning your, you know, little cup. That was a lot of information. So are you somebody who, so the next question is it normal to have really bad cramps, and how do you deal with them? So as far as like cramping, I have always had like really bad cramps. I don't like to take medication as far as like Midol or anything like that, or Tylenol if I'm cramping, just because I don't like my body to rely on medication, or for it to feel like the only way that it's going to make me feel better is by taking you know, something for my cramps. I usually just try to salve it out, to be honest with you guys. I use heating pads on my stomach, in my lower back, because I do have really, really, really bad lower back pain when I have my period. I also, something that helps with like bloating as well as cramp is taking a té de manzanilla. That's totally like, obviously like Mexican, you know, mom's remedy for everything. It's like, drink a té, it's gonna make you feel better. And it really does, especially with the de-bloating. We get super bloated with like hormones and just everything that's happening in our body, that it's gonna just kind of like ease everything and just make you feel a lot better. So that's something that I do that helps, that is amazing, that I feel like you guys should definitely try it out. I have a stash of, you know, the manzanilla in my pantry, and all I do is just put water, put the little thing in there, and drink a little tea. PMS symptoms before you're about to start your period that trigger your actual period. So my symptoms are usually just like breast tenderness. That's like the #1 thing, and lower back pain. That's how I know that I'm gonna start my period. Once my boobs start hurting and my lower back starts hurting, I know that my comadre is gonna come and visit me. How do you feel about having sex with a period? So I know that it's actually very common for women to have sex on their period, and I'm guessing that these women do not have heavy periods. I've had conversations with girls and they always say that yes, they've had sex on their period, because something about you being on your period and your hormones just gets you like more turned on around that time of the month. I have no idea why. I don't know like the scientific like reasoning behind why women just want more when we're on our period. Maybe it's your hormones that are like out of whack, but usually these girls are light people to be like, you know, to have periods. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how does it feel to be God's favorite? Like, you literally get no period or like little drops while I'm over here like Bloody Mary. You know, it's disgusting. Like, it's honestly disgusting, and I feel disgusting. I've been feeling so disgusting these past couple of months because it's just been so heavy. So now transitioning a little bit more towards like birth control and your period. I know that a lot of women do take birth control to kind of regulate their period as well as making it lighter. There's girls who have like the IUD, there's girls who do pills, and they do mention that their period is lighter. But I have always been totally against birth control, and before anybody like attacks me about it, because yes, it is a safe thing, you know, to use birth control, and it does help regulate your period. Birth control is filled with so many just toxins that are not great for your body. And on top of that, your hormones and your mood swings and everything that it makes you go through is so draining as a girl, that I honestly don't know how people deal with it. And everybody is different. There's a lot of women who love birth control and they have no side effects. And there's a lot of women like myself who have tried birth control and literally feel like their world is like collapsing. Like, it's that bad, you know? I have been on birth control in the past. When I first started my period, when I first started like having sex and stuff, I actually got on birth control before I even lost my virginity, because I wanted to make sure that I did not, you know, get pregnant and like my mom killed me, you know, like at a really young age. So I got on birth control, obviously without my parents' permission. I went to Planned Parenthood and I went with like a couple of my friends. Like how crazy am I, right? Like, I'm about to lose my virginity and I'm like, I need to go on birth control. Like, I need to make sure that I'm safe, you know, which is good. Like, you have to have that mentality, but it's so crazy to me that that was what I was thinking about. Like, now looking back, I'm like, you should have been fucking focused in school. Now I know my parents are like, focus in school. Like, stop thinking about boys and stop thinking about doing nasty shit, you know, because now as an adult, I'm like, the fucking shit I was thinking about at 16, the things that I was worried about 17, the things that I was worrying about when I was in high school, like thinking that my world was ending, you know, and I'm like, it's crazy. It's so crazy how much you just grow up throughout the years. But anyways, yeah, I started like, you know, having options for birth control. I did get on the pill and I was on orthotricelin, I think it was called. Let me get that for you. I'll put it right here. It's like tricelin, something like that. That was the name of the actual pill. And it is a very low dose, low hormone pill. And the reason that I specifically had to get on that type of pill is because I suffer from migraines. And if you guys did not know, if you are somebody who suffers from migraines and actually get auras in your vision, when you, I think it's called auras or aura, something like that. If you're somebody who sees a pitch of light before you get a headache, you can actually get a stroke if you take birth control and suffer from migraines. And I had no idea that this was even something that happens. And I'm glad that my doctor, obviously, you know, she's always been an amazing doctor and she told me about these things, and they always ask you. So that's why, like, make sure you're always like knowing what's happening to your body and being alert, because I had no idea that you could get a stroke if you're on birth control and you suffer from migraines. So when yeah, I didn't have any idea about obviously like those things happening. So it's always good to be alert about those things. And I feel like people don't talk about, you know, the bad things about birth control. And by no shape, way or form, because I've done a birth control video before and I actually got a lot of backlash over it because people were saying that I was discouraging people from being on birth control. And by no means am I saying don't get on birth control, guys. You guys are 100% allowed to be on birth control and, you know, do whatever you feel like you need to do for your body, because it's your body and you can do whatever you please with it. I just want to be able to put out there that you need to just do your research with anything. Like, if you're doing anything, just learn about it, do your research, and really like have your own opinions and do what's best for your own body, because sometimes we don't treat our bodies the best way possible, and this is why a lot of tragedies happen and a lot of bad stuff end up happening, because we're not informed with the things that can go wrong or happen. So I have always been against like birth control and stuff. So my experience with the pill was not horrible. I'm not gonna lie, it was not bad. I was consistent. I had it. I used it. It protected me, obviously, and I didn't have very many side effects. I didn't get like any weight gain. I didn't experience anything totally horrible. I had maybe a little bit of like worst headaches and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. So then I stopped. I just stopped taking birth control, and I just didn't want to take it anymore. And then obviously like further into my life, I kind of depended on the pull-out method, you know? But I didn't just depend on the pull-out method. I was very consistent. It's like the Christian thing. They taught it actually at our the Christian and Catholic thing. You know, when I got married, I went to the retiro when you go for the 2 days, and then they talk about like, you know, Christianity and being a Catholic and you know, your beliefs and everything, and they talk about how you're not supposed to be on birth control. And then they started talking about how you can actually track your period when you're not trying to get pregnant. So I actually did. I followed it. I followed it on my calendar, but this is specifically for people who are super regular. Like, you're always on time, you know? I started following it anytime that I was ovulating, like the first, you know, that week that I was ovulating and the actual day that my ovulation was occurring. I would not have intercourse. I would not have sex or anything. And it worked. It worked for 6 years for me. And then finally, when I decided that, I started thinking like maybe something's wrong, you know, maybe like I can't get pregnant or something, because it was weird to me that for 6 years I never had like, you know, a scare. And then that's when I told Elisa, I was like, maybe we should try. Like, we should try to see if I could get pregnant. And just see what happens, you know. And by this point, we already kind of had an idea that if we did get pregnant, we would be happy with it. And this was the route that we were going to go to just kind of like expand our family and just, you know, start trying. I got pregnant. Like, I literally got pregnant that month, you know. So I think it was that month or the next month, but I got pregnant super fast. It just, like that time, like we tried one time and I got pregnant. So then I was like, okay, clearly there's not, you know, like I guess I can get pregnant. So then I gave birth, and then after I gave birth, I went back to my ways of the pull-out method, and it did not work this time. And it was maybe because I obviously was a lot more fertile, because now I had just given birth. You are the most fertile after giving birth. So now I was like, okay, let me just, you know, like keep using the pull-out method because I don't want to get on birth control. And then I got pregnant with Camila. So Camila was definitely more of like, oh my God, I didn't expect that to happen. But of course, my baby girl is a blessing. But yeah, as far as that, like now being me, after I gave birth to Camila, I decided to insert the IUD. I had the IUD in me for like a week, and then I took it out, because I was just so paranoid. I was like, I don't want it inside of me. Like, I was just like feeling super anxious. Maybe it was just me maybe getting into my own head, but I was super anxious. I was just super like panicking because there was something like foreign inside of me, and I was just like in panic mode. Prior to, you know, this situation, I tried the pill and I thought I was going fucking crazy. For a whole week, I literally was crying. I was an emotional wreck. I was just so sad, so depressed. Like, it was just like a horrible, horrible time. And I don't know, I've just had bad experiences with the IUD. I've had bad experiences with the pill. And now, honestly, I think it's just now the way that I take care of myself is just, obviously, I'm still tracking myself on the calendar, and we take care of ourselves. We use protection, which kind of sucks because I actually don't like using a condom, and I'm sure a lot of people don't like using a condom, but sometimes you just need to do what you gotta do because you have to be protected. But I would definitely now just try to get to the point where we're just like, okay, we're not gonna have any more kids. These are obviously conversations that I have with my husband on a daily basis, where we just talk and we're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I haven't been very open about like the decisions we're making because they haven't been official or anything, but you know, we have talked about, obviously, Lisa's getting a vasectomy. We've talked about you know, us you know, maybe freezing his sperm if we need to, if I decided to get pregnant later on. And I'm gonna talk about this really quick just because I feel like it's something that I need to just kind of get out. When I was talking to Elisa's in one of my videos about him and I having another baby, I was getting attacked a lot on social media about me saying that I didn't want any more babies. And it was all by girls. And it sucks sometimes that as women, we don't support each other and we feel like we need to attack, you know, each other instead of helping each other out for everything that we go through. But people were like, well, why don't you get your tubes tied and let him, you know, like not get his vasectomy? Like, you just don't want him to get another girl pregnant, or you just want this. And I'm like, I am, first of all, married to this man, and no, I don't expect him to go get another girl pregnant. As myself, I don't expect to go get pregnant by another man. Like, I'm hoping that I'm spending the rest of my life with this guy. Like, I did get married with him to stay with him for the rest of my life. And the reason behind that is because I feel like we already created two beautiful children together, which is why I feel like we're making that decision together, you know, with ourselves. But it made me sad that people were telling me that I needed to go get my tubes tied because it was my decision, when in reality, like, do you guys know how bad it is when women go and get their tubes tied? First of all, a guy getting snipped, it's so quick and is reversible. A girl needs to go through whole intensive surgery to get their tubes tied and to get them untied if we decided to have children later on. Like, it's so bad. Like, I feel like as women, we already go through so much. Like, that's the least a man can do for us. Like, as somebody who has a husband, like, I don't want to make him feel bad. And this is obviously like by decisions we were making together, but like, I carried our kid, you know, like, I went through so many changes in my life. Like my body, my insides don't feel the same. Like, I lost my whole ass gallbladder. Like, my digestive system is shit now. You know, like, a lot happened during pregnancy that women don't talk about, and we've normalized it, especially now with social media, because it's so cute, you know, being pregnant and, you know, having babies. And yes, it's a beautiful thing, but nobody talks about like what really happens to a woman's body. I always tell my mom, I have no idea how you gave birth to 5 children and, you know, another baby that she lost and stuff, but 6 pregnancies, my great grandma, you know, like 12 pregnancies, my grandma, 11 pregnancies. I'm like, it's so crazy how much like your body goes through. So I definitely feel like those conversations as women are things that we definitely need to try to push our men. And if your man, you know, wants to help and, you know, do that for you, like, Ulises has been so open. He tells me all the time the only reason he doesn't want to do it is because he's worried that if I change my mind in 5 years, like, oh my god, like, I want another baby, you know, like, that's the part. That's what he's scared of. He's more scared of the fact that I might want more kids later, and then he's gonna be like, I freaking told you, you know. But the whole doing it for me, he is 100% okay with, you know, making those changes for me, because he cares about me as his wife. And, you know, he saw everything that I went through to carry our kids and birth them, and, you know, the aftermath after having children. And I feel like those things are, I just kind of wanted to get that out of my chest, because I feel like women, we attack each other so much all the time. And I know that if it would have been the other way around and I would have been telling Elisa's like, I want more babies, I still would have been attacked, and I still would have been like, people would have still been like, girl, like, your man doesn't want kids, like, leave him alone, you know. And it's like, but then, you know, like, I don't know, it just sucks, because I feel like a lot of the times, like, guys get, you know, all the praising and the, oh, like, you're God's gift on earth, and then we get the shitty end of the stick every fucking time. Like, the girl is always the bad person, the girl this and the girl that, and it's always by women. It's always women attacking women and making us feel bad over decisions that we're deciding to make, you know? But yeah, that was just kind of like a little thing over like my birth control situation. So if you guys are interested in birth control and all of that, just do your research and make the best decision for you. There's 100 million options for birth control. Obviously, you need to go and see your gynecologist. If you're somebody who is still a virgin and you're already, you know, 18, 19 years old, you still need to go see a gynecologist. I had this conversation with my older sister, and I was telling her that it is normal for young girls to you know, go to have a, you know, pap smear and all that stuff, because believe it or not, there has been a lot of young girls at the age of 14, 15 years old who have had ovarian cancer, who have had, you know, cancer, cervical cancer, and all those screenings could have been avoided if we stopped as even like Latinos, because I feel like it's definitely like a Mexican thing. I feel like it's like a Hispanic thing where we don't normalize those things. Our parents make us feel like it's not normal to put a tampon inside of you, or you know, go to the doctor and get checked, you know, down there because you're gonna lose your virginity. I remember back when I used to be in Mexico with my family, like riding a horse was even took your virginity away. Like as a woman, you would not spread your legs open when riding a horse. You would have to sit to ride a horse. So it's like those are things that have been happening for years and years and years, you know. I think I answered honestly like every question. I've literally been rambling for like 45 minutes, guys. I had no idea I was gonna have this much information to share with you guys, and I'm shook. Like, I didn't even go through your questions because I answered every single question. I went through them before I started this video, and this was like the most common thing that people were like asking me about. And yeah, so as far as like hygiene and stuff and just making sure that you were staying clean, obviously it's changing your tampon every 2 hours as recommended, as well as your pads, because usually by the 3rd day your menstrual cycle will start creating like this very weird smell. I don't even know how to explain the smell. It's like kind of like coppery, kind of like, I don't know. It's obviously like the lining of your uterus and the blood coming out that just gives it a very bad smell. If you're wearing your pad for a really long time, then yeah, it's going to kind of like come out. Usually the days on my periods, I like to obviously shower. I always shower day and night. But if you're somebody who does not shower day and night, at least for the weeks of your actual period, I would definitely recommend for you guys to just shower day and night, and also do not use scented products. Use, you know, just Dove soap, clean lightly, wash out, and don't use any scented products. No scented tampons, no scented pads. Anything like that can harm your vaginal area and cause yeast infections, UTIs, and like I said, we do not need any more stuff. Like, so much happens to girls, like everything, like we get everything horrible, you know. Like, when was the last time you heard a guy have a UTI? You know, like, guys don't deal with anything. Like, we're the ones that are always, like, getting the short end of the stick. Me punching Elisa's once this video is done. Angry. But yeah, guys, I think I got through everything as far as, like, talking to you guys. If you guys have more questions, I do have to do a part 2 for my sex video, as well as maybe a part 2 for this one if I did not answer any questions for you guys that you guys probably answered. But sorry for making this video super long. I didn't want to ramble for hours, but I always have so much to say. If you guys want me to get on like maybe Instagram live, I would love to do that for you guys, and maybe start doing these videos like once a week on there, so I can actually talk to you guys for a long period of time and I'm not having to like cut and edit, because posting a 45 to an hour video is a lot here on YouTube, and you know, you guys might get bored like midway or something. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys are still enjoying the girl talk videos, which I know you guys love, make sure you guys give this video a huge thumbs up. I am also going to be having a giveaway down below for you guys, so just make sure that you guys just comment, interact, help each other out. Make sure you guys share your experiences down below, because I would love to read them. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you guys on my next one. Love you guys.